the whole time I was a part of this community, I always felt like I had to hide a part of myself. I always felt like I was welcome as long as I didn't disagree with certain topics, as long as my voice wasn't too loud. What's going on? Welcome back to Pupil's Life, episode 105. Welcome, dude. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome to SoundCloud. Welcome to Spotify. Welcome to iTunes. Welcome to my brain. Yeah, man. What's going on? It's been. What's going on, dude? You don't even want to know what's going on. Right? You don't even want to know what's going on globally. Because if I start talking about that, man, we're going to be here for hours. And one of us is going to cry. And it ain't going to be me. Because these tears, they're all drained, man. They're all dry. I've cried a lot this past week, man. Just about all of the things that I've seen happening around the world. And it is almost literally heartbreaking, dude. And not in like a fucking, I'm going to post about it on social media. Like, oh, it's so heartbreaking to see, child soldiers or whatever. No, it's like I am watching these videos and reading about these things and my heart is breaking in real time, dude. And I am breaking down into tears. I saw there's videos, dude. Videos of infants being handed off by their parent, generally their mother, to American soldiers over a barbed wire fence. I saw just 24,000 children being forced to get vaccinated in a stadium where their parents are not allowed. And I read about, the rules that the Taliban, as fucking Joe Biden says it, dude. That, households with girls 13 and under or 13 and over, I forget which of the two, you got to mark your front door with an X so that your children, your daughters, can be sold as sex slaves to the military. And if you don't do that, they execute your whole family. Just a lot of this, like the contrast between what I'm reading and what my life is, just for the first time ever, man, it's just I don't know if unfair is the right word, but it just feels like a lot, man. It just feels like a lot, and I'm trying to not read about it as much, because there's only so much that I can do. And overconsumption of all this is getting to me, quite frankly. But there's also, there's some positives. I mean, you won't see it on TV, but there are thousands of people. As I'm speaking right now, there are thousands of people protesting, dude, in Melbourne and maybe other parts of Australia because they're fed up and they see what's happening. You know, they're being patrolled by military, dude. Forced lockdowns with military enforcement. And the Australians have no guns, you know, so how can they protect themselves? Well, they can march, man. They can fucking use numbers, you know. And there's little children being pepper sprayed for not wearing masks. There's little children being pepper sprayed for being at the protest. There's women being beat by police officers. You know, it's just all kinds of shit, man. But I cry at that too. I cry at the fact that there are people who are also unhappy with what's happening and trying to do something about it, you know. This is one of the first times in my life where I've felt like, you know, if there was a march, dude, or a protest in Austin for this kind of stuff, you know, against dictatorships and against tyranny and against all these COVID restrictions, I would be there, dude. I would be the first fucking one there. You know, I'd be there early and I would socialize with people. Because, dude, some of the shit you read, you know, they say stay away from comments, man. I saw a picture of people protesting in Melbourne, you know, rightfully so, dude. They're protesting against literally the police having government authority, government permission to use any force necessary. They can break into your home legally. They can compel people to give information to other people, you know, to rat. They can use brute force on you if you're not following their guidelines. And a few other things, man. You know, a few other things. New Zealand, total lockdown again after one single COVID case. But also, yeah, so I saw this picture of people protesting in Melbourne, and there I will go, dude. There I go. I read the comments, and what do I see, man? I see people, you know, I saw one comment that said something along the lines of like, here's a picture full of people who don't care about anyone but themselves. And that was most of the comments, dude. It was scary. It's scary to see stuff like that, you know, where it's like, it's okay if you don't like what people are doing, man. But some of the comments just seem a little overboard, you know? It's like, yeah, man, I don't like that. You know, when I stopped talking to my mom and my sister, I didn't like the things they were doing or saying, but I didn't wish them harm. I didn't hope they would suffer, you know, for what they did or because I disagreed with what they did. Like, I can't get there, man. I can't get there mentally. I can't make that jump. And I'm not saying that I'm not capable of it, and I'm not saying that I haven't in the past, you know. Everybody's got a little Hitler inside of them. But just right now it's so fucking bizarre, man. And I saw it with a place that I used to be a huge part of the community at. And I'm not going to name any names, and I'm not going to even tell you the name of the place, dude. If you know me, you probably know what I'm talking about. I saw, you know, I'm on this community's Facebook group, and one of the owners responded to a 1-star review of the business screenshotted it and posted it on the community's Facebook page. And you know, the review basically, it said, I don't support businesses that support the Black Lives Matter organization, right? And regardless of how you feel about that, dude, you know, some people would argue that Black Lives Matter organization is actually terrible for Black lives. Not the movement, not Black lives, not the organization, the people that created an organization, you know, white men, by the way. And then there's some people who think fucking it's the best thing ever and whatnot, right? Whatever side you're on, yeah, it's shitty for that guy to have left a 1-star review because of that. But dude, the comments on that screenshot, my God, man. And the thing is that it wasn't, you know, there's a difference between the Australia thing, where it's just someone that I don't even know commenting some evil shit, and then this community and that post, that screenshot, and the comments from people that I do know, from people that I've interacted with, from people that I have just always kind of felt like something was not right, you know? And it was all hateful, dude. It was all hateful. It was, you know, this piece of shit probably is from Florida. You know, this piece of shit probably wouldn't wear a mask if he came in our business. Yeah, tell this fucking guy to go to a different business. You know, we don't want you here. Like, they're just all just fucking piling on, and just showing the worst sides of humanity, man. And they, you know, I just don't understand it, man. Those are the people that then argue, you know, you can't fight a war with more war. You know, violence can't be put out with more violence. And it's like, dude, it's just, it is baffling, man. And, you know, these are people that are at least twice my age, most of them. Some of them, not most of them. And it's sad, man, because now, you know, I don't know that I ever want to go back to that community. You know, it's, and in a way it's good, you know, they show you your true colors so you can spend your time with people that you feel are a little bit safer, right? I recently read something from Tucker Max, and he said, there are no safe places. There are only safe people. And this place, dude, is unsafe. And the people at this place feel unsafe now too, right? Because it's like, this piece of shit's probably from Florida. This piece of shit probably wouldn't wear a mask if he came into our business. And it's like, what about all the people on your Facebook page who are from Florida? And what about all the people on your Facebook page who, for whatever reason, don't want to wear a mask? And there's no consideration for any of that. And, you know, I am one of those people. I don't want to wear a mask. And I think Florida is awesome because of what they're doing. You know, I think that, I'm not saying they don't have flaws. I don't know enough about it to speak on that, but I don't think less of Florida, you know, just because they are giving more power to their people. And it's, yeah, man, it was just sad, really. It was just sad to read that. I was just reading it and thinking about all these people who must hate themselves so much that they can't bear the thought of holding up a mirror and reflecting instead of deflecting and projecting. Um, and yeah, man, it's just like I don't know. It's just surprising, to be honest, is what it is. But at the end of the day, my intuition told me this from day one. That the whole time I was a part of this community, I always felt like I had to hide a part of myself. I always felt like I was welcome as long as I didn't disagree with certain topics, as long as my voice wasn't too loud, you know? And yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like in a way I feel like a little kid that's learning about the world for the first time. Or not learning, but seeing it firsthand, But yeah, man. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Because it's honestly all of this stuff, man, it's just been stressing me out, overwhelming me, and bringing me down. And I don't want to further that. I don't want to spread that energy onto you, the listener. So yeah, man. I mean, I think the last thing I'll say about it is if you're feeling similarly to how I am, what's helped me, man, is to go on long walks, hour and a half, shirtless in the sun, if you can, surrounded by nature. And just, dude, it sounds like cliche and it sounds like frou-frou or whatever, but just, stop and just like put your hand on a tree, man. Just stop, put your hand on a tree and take a deep breath, and let your feet plant roots. And that's one of the things that's helped me. And then the other thing, man, is just to cry, to cry, to feel whatever comes up, even if I'm at work, dude, I'll be at work sometimes and, I don't know when somebody's going to come in order, right? I can't predict that, but I'll be at work sometimes, dude. And a friend of mine will send me a fucking video that just, I can't, dude. And I just start bawling my eyes out, And one of these days, dude, I'm going to be crying my eyes out at work and somebody's going to come up and they're going to be like, I thought this place sold happiness, I thought this place sold fucking happiness, dude. And yet the cashier is crying. I don't want business. I don't want to give my business to this sad person. No, it's just a joke, people. But yeah, man, feel the emotions and then also just go outside, dude. Just go outside. Yeah. I'm using my fucking long headphone things because I think my wireless ones might be part of the reason why last episode sounded like shit on video, at least. I don't know, dude, because I do the audio on Audacity and I do the video on Zoom, and the audio on Audacity sounded just fine. So I don't know what the fuck it was, dude. I don't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, man, I've outside of everything I just mentioned, man, which has been, 5 or 10% of my life the last few weeks, I've had a great time, dude. I've had a great time. I feel like I feel like I'm making different choices in some areas of my life, and they're really benefiting me. I've spent a lot of time outside. You know, one of my favorite things about my girlfriend is that we both really enjoy spending time outside. And so, like last weekend, she told me about this place called Krause Springs, which I'd never heard of. 35, 40 minutes outside of Austin. I'd never heard of this place. Shows me pictures, looks like Avatar. Shows me pictures, dude, and it looks like Avatar. And she says, do you want to go camping there? Ask no more, you know? And so last weekend we went there, and we just spent one night. We swam, we set up our tent, swam, and then built a fire. Built a fucking fire, dude. She built the fire. You know, that's what's just, she built the fire. I mean, I got the fire. I got like the fucking twigs, dude, you know? But she set up the firewood, and she lit it. It wasn't really, but it's just cool that she can, do shit like that. And then we just sat by the fire and talked for like 4 hours about all kinds of stuff, And then when we got in the tent, the top of her tent doesn't have, like, it's covered, but it's like a mesh or whatever. So you can see the fucking trees and the stars and the sky. And it was just like sleeping in Mother Nature's arms, dude. Yeah, there's just something, I think, that there is something that you miss when you're sleeping inside of an apartment, where you don't hear that fucking like, and the fucking, the cicadas, and just all kinds of noises. I don't know. And there's even an element of fear, right? Every time you hear a car, or every time that because there's other people at the campsite, every time that you hear footsteps, you're like, is this it? Is somebody about to, zip, unzip the fucking tent and stab me in the stomach? But I don't know. It's like an adventure, and you're just. It was so fun, man. It was so relaxing, and yeah, there's a shitload of people there. There's a shitload of people, and there's a lot of kids, and I think this is a place where, she grew up in Austin, and I think she used to go here growing up. So it was nice, I feel like the more I get to know her, the more I realize that someone who grew up in Austin is not having the experience that I'm having here as a 20-something-year-old, right? Like, you're not in downtown Austin growing up, right? Maybe you go to Zilker Park, maybe you go to Barton Springs, but you're not fucking going to bars. You're not going to restaurants by yourself or with friends, you're just fucking, generally you're like in the outskirts, right? Even when I lived in Cancun, I was always like, well, I mean, except for the couple of years I was in my dad's apartment, but like most of the time I was 25 to 30 minutes outside of downtown Cancun. And so, yeah, man, I don't know. It's cool to still feel like I could still learn new things about Austin, even 6 years later. And yeah, man, we got third place at a trivia night a couple days later. I went with my two buddies and her and one of my buddies. gals that he started seeing and a friend of hers. And it's dude, I'm fucking, oh, why am I tired? I feel like for the longest time, I've always wanted to have my friends and then have a girlfriend that I can hang out with my friends with, but still feel like I'm hanging out with my friends the way I would if she wasn't there, you know? Yeah, like there's something really comforting to me about that scenario where, like, growing up, I would watch TV shows, right? And I always kind of longed for the friendship part when I grew up, like, because I had friends in my childhood, but I would always see these TV shows and I would think, man, how cool, right? I would watch Girls, dude, the HBO show with Lena Dunham and Adam Driver. I would watch that and I would think, man, that's so cool to just like be on your own in a city and just know different people that you can call and be like, hey, do you want to go do this today? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. Like you just congregate with people that you didn't even know existed years ago, and you build your little community like that, right? And it's like I get something different, man. I don't want to say better, but it's like I just like having that more than I really ever liked having like my family around, right? Because that never really felt safe. That never really felt like I could be myself. It never really felt like what I wanted. It felt like I had to change who I was and what I wanted to do in order to be a part of that. And at the trivia thing, man, and just every time we hang out, all of us together, I just feel confident, man. I feel confident and I feel happy and I feel light and playful. I laugh a lot. And it's just beautiful, man. It's just fucking beautiful. But we got third place, dude. And the thing, man, the thing is, we should have gotten first place. And I know what you're thinking. Of course, dude, everybody that gets second and third place thinks they should have won, right? But no, hear me out. We got 43 points in third place. First place got 46 points. But dude, the last round, it's an audio round. And the hosts are like, all right, this is a fucking, yeah, these are all the fucking Danny Elfman scores from movies and TV shows. And they all sounded the same. There was two different, it was either like ding 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 ding, or it was like a fucking, one of them was Nightmare Before Christmas, right? And it was just, I've never seen that movie, but this is what I imagine that it sounds like. It's like doom 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 doom. No, I can't do it, man. I can't. I don't even know. But like, you know what I mean? One of them was like a like haunted, and then like something bad's about to happen, and then one of them was like Indiana Jones, like I know that's Jurassic Park, but it was just like like, and it's just every single happy one sounded exactly like that, and every single scary one sounded exactly like a scary one. And it's like one of them was fucking Spider-Man, dude. Who remembers the score for Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire. Who remembers the fucking theme song to Desperate Housewives? You know, I didn't even remember Desperate Housewives existed until this trivia night. And so the audio round was just kind of bullshit, dude. Everybody fucked up on that round, and it's what it is, man. But we should have won, and we would have won a $25 gift card. That, I don't know, man. 23, 24 teams. We still got third place. That's pretty fucking good. So I am happy with it. I dig it, man. And yeah, man. What else? What the fuck else, man? What the fuck else, man? Man, what the fuck else, man? I read this book, man, and I don't think I ever talked about. It is called A Dose of Hope, and it's written by Dan Engel and someone with a pseudonym who is named Alex Young. And it is a fictional story about real things. So it's like, I think the word is, it's like a parable where they kind of use the story structure, the elements of story and narrative to explain a concept to you. The concept being MDMA assisted psychotherapy. And so the book just takes you basically from someone who wants to try that all the way to the end of them having done 3 MDMA assisted psychotherapy sessions. And along the way, it is fucking filled with just truth bombs, dude, just gems. And I'll read a couple to you just so you understand what I mean by truth bombs, right? For example, dude, one of them is placing the locus of control for my emotions into someone else gives them power over me and my emotions, and it denies my autonomy and power over my life. It creates a victim mindset in me. And it's one of those things that you hear, man, and you're like, what the fuck? You know, you gotta really think about it. And dude, this one's probably the one that I was most kind of reflecting on. It says, the day the child realizes that all adults are imperfect, he becomes an adolescent. The day he forgives them, he becomes an adult. The day he forgives himself, he becomes wise. And fuck, man, it's just like, it's just full of that, you know? And if you don't know what MDMA assisted psychotherapy is, I highly recommend you read about it. There's a great piece on it by Tucker Max. You just Google MDMA Tucker Max and it'll pop up. It's on Medium. But yeah, man, as somebody that, you know, has dabbled in that field, it's really just one of the best books I've read this year, man. One of the best books I've read in recent time. And it was published by Scribe Media. You know, it was one of those published by, I think, Lioncrest, dude, but that's like the publisher that Scribe Media uses. It's like their own publisher or whatever. But anyway, dude, it's every book I read by Scribe is just the easiest book to read, but one of the best books that I've ever read. You know, Sparrow and the Razor Wire by Quan Nguyen. The Bad One by Aaron Tyler. One Last Talk by Philip McKernan. A Dose of Hope by Dr. Dan Engel, you know? just, man, they really have it down. You know, they really have that fucking system down. And it's one of why I really want to fucking work there someday, man, is because as a writer and as an avid reader and as just a fan of writing, dude, and storytelling, it is every time I read one of their books, I'm like, fuck, dude, how can I, you know, I feel like I learn more about how to write every time I read one of their books. And it's just like, make it simpler and make it so that everyone can understand, you know? But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy easy to read. And it's just a book that I think everyone can learn something from, whether or not you're interested in doing MDMA assisted psychotherapy or not. And on that note, dude, I also started reading George Orwell's 1984. And it's still too early, really, for me to talk about, but it's also not too early for me to recognize how all the parallels, you know? And it's, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that the book was written in fucking 1940s. But yeah, man, I've been getting back into reading. I feel like I slowed down for a little bit. Just with all this shit that happened, man, recently, that I still don't really feel comfortable talking about, but mostly because it wasn't really something that happened. It's not really something about me, you know. If it was something strictly about me, I would feel a little more comfortable sharing it. But for the time being, I think a little more time between the events would be better. But so I've been getting back into reading, man, and dude, I don't even know if I talked about this, but I reread a book that I finished writing last year that was like basically from my first memory all the way to high school graduation, or to college initiation, dude. Forgot about that. And I reread it, dude. It's like fucking 90,000 words or something. Complete garbage. And it's fucking, dude, it's the first time that's happened where I reread something. It's not because I've read some of the things that I've already published, right? Like my first collection of short stories. There are a couple stories that I don't think they're very good, right? And but it's out there, it's published, so what the fuck? Who cares? But this is the first time that I've read something with the intention of maybe publishing it and been like, oh no, that can't happen. This cannot see the light of day. Maybe, dude, because it's so autobiographical, maybe if a fucking grandkid of mine 50 years from now wants to read it, you know, I'll fucking I'll make it happen, you know. But everyone else, dude, you know, I let my brother read it, and of course he fucking ate it up, right? Because it's about my life, and therefore it's kind of about his life. But yeah, man. Besides that, dude, it's just, I think the thing that happened was that I read Bukowski's Ham on Rye. I reread it before I wrote that book, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna try and fucking do my Ham on Rye, you know. And rereading Ham on Rye, I realized like there's this kind of weird thing that even Bukowski doesn't accomplish, but he tries and he does much better than I did, where as the age progresses in that book, you know, as fucking Henry Chinaski goes from being a little infant boy to a fucking puberty filled teenager, the writing changes, right? It's like younger when he's a little kid and more innocent, and then it's a little bit more aggressive and angry, right? And I was like, maybe he was trying to capture, like, as if each age was writing that section of the book, and there's a progressive sort of maturation in the writing. And I try to do that, and I think when you focus too much on trying to do like a style, when you focus too much on the technical part of writing, you miss the whole point of writing, which is to tell a story that, you know, other people can learn about themselves from, and that you can learn about yourself from, right? So yeah, I reread that, man, and it kind of it fucked with me for a little bit, because I was like, dude, what if now everything that I write is shit? And I've got, you know, a couple other books that I finished that I haven't yet reread, and I started to think, like, what if those are shit too, you know? Uh, and so then I was like, dude, I gotta read one of them. I gotta find out. So I picked up this one that is 3 stories. I've already read all 3 of those stories, but I've never read them together, right? I finally put them in one document, put them on my Kindle, and I said, all right, like, fucking do it, dude. Just let's see if it's still there. Let's see if this is worth publishing. And there are 3 stories about different trips I took to Mexico City, and my hometown, Cancun, Puerto Morelos. And they're all true stories, right? And I'm still on only the first story. The first one is about a trip I took back with my ex-girlfriend when my sister had her car accident. And the second one is the trip I took to Mexico City, dude, right before I fucking started this podcast, when I did DMT, dude, and just that fucking kind of like a fucking, what's that guy's name, dude? The guy that wrote fucking Junkie, William Burroughs. You know, that kind of vibe of just like, the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing with your life? And why aren't you getting it together? And the last one is about the trip I took last year to see my dad after 2 years of not having gone back to see him. And, you know, sharing my personal truth with him, you know, after that whole interview with Philip McKernan, you know, finally having that conversation. And dude, I fucking thank God, dude. I've been reading it. I've been reading that first story about my ex-girlfriend and the trip we took, and it's good, man. It's good. There's enough there, you know? Because the thing with the other one is that it's not that it was all horseshit. It was that 20% of it wasn't. And so it's like, can you really fix 80% of it to make 20% of it worth it? If I really wanted to, like, if it was the only book I had right now that I had finished, maybe. But even then, I would almost rather just start a new book. But the one I'm reading now, man, it's like, all right, no, this is, you know, I'm editing the fuck out of it, right? It's taken me so long to get through, because every other paragraph I'm changing so much. But the thing is that just the underlying story is, there is a story, there is a message. It's not just me fucking. And when I was 6, I threw eggs at my neighbor's house and I got in trouble for it. And when I was 8, I liked this girl and she didn't like me back. And when I was 10, I masturbated for the first time. And it's like, okay, and fucking, what's the point of all of this, dude? You know? So yeah, I don't know. It's exciting, man, because it's been, I think, about a year since I published my last book. And yeah, man, it's just exciting. It's just exciting when you fucking get that first copy, you know? You get the proof copy, and you flip through it and you're like, man, fucking dude, I forget that it's not really easy for most people to write like full length books. And I could, dude, at this point, I could just, like, if that was what I did for a living, dude, if that was how I made my money, it would feel unfair. It would feel unfair. And because I just enjoy it too much and it's just too easy for me. But yeah, man. So there's that. And I also, by the time you hear this, you won't have time to participate in it. But medium.com is running a contest, a writing contest, where they have 4 different categories. You can submit up one piece to all 4 of them. And each category has a $10,000 prize. And of the 4 people that win those top prizes, one of them will win an extra $50,000, dude. And so I really only had time and energy to do one. And I barely just finished it today, man. And the deadline is like 3 days from now. But I chose to write for their category, their topic of re-entry, and I'll read you the prompt, man. Because even if you don't write for the contest, I think the prompt is still pretty fucking cool, just to write for yourself. And dude, it's funny. One of the judges is going to be Natalie Portman, not for my prompt, but for other prompts. So introducing the Medium Writers Challenge. Okay, re-entry. Tell us about an experience you've had coming back to something or someone after time away. What changed in your absence? How did you change? What are the funny moments? Faux pas, discomforts, faux pas, dude. I fucking hate people that use that, dude. Discomforts and joys that came with returning to an old situation, or your pre-pandemic life with new eyes. And I don't know any of the judges. There's some guy named Imani Perry, Julio Vincent Gambuto, Saeed Jones, and Jude Ellison Doyle. So I chose to write about going back to see my dad, man. Going back to see my dad, and then talking to him. I use the word confronting, but I don't really mean it in that way. I just mean confronting the truth, right? And I chose that because I think it's kind of like a universal thing that men especially, but also women probably wish they could do or want to do or long for. But they wait until it's too late. They wait until their dad has passed away. They wait until their mom has passed away. They wait until they're on their deathbed. And I didn't, man. And it's not a story that I feel like gets told very often, right? Because quite frankly, I don't think that most people do this. I don't think that most people suffer enough to put themselves in these situations where they are having very difficult conversations with people from a fucking totally different generation, like my dad. And I just finished that piece today, man. And the thing that's interesting that I've noticed is that I don't know if this means that it is good writing and then it is a good story or whatever, but like dude, I cry often when I'm writing about my life. And it's yesterday, I was writing about it, I think yesterday. Oh man, my fucking neck. I was writing about it yesterday and it was like in the story, there's fucking, what is it, dude? There's a flashback in the story to when I was 13, and my dad, I had been living in San Francisco with my mom and my brother. My older brother and I decided to move back to Mexico to live with my dad. And I had not cut my hair for a full year, dude, a little bit more than that. And I get back to Mexico and I'm with my dad, man. And I just feel this loyalty. I feel proud of myself because I chose to be with my dad, and I chose my friends, and I chose my community. And one day, man, before school's even started, one day my dad just looks at me, man, and he says, when are you going to cut your hair? When people see you walking next to me, they're going to think that I have a girl. They're going to think I have a daughter. You don't want that, do you? And man, of course, when I was 13, I felt anger, right? Because anger was how I could feel anger. I couldn't feel sadness because I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't really know how to, I knew how to feel sadness, but I didn't, if I felt sad, then I had to realize that my dad didn't know how to be there for me, and that my dad couldn't take care of me. But if I felt angry, then I could ignore that and just get in a fight with him, right? Or just feel like I'm right and just ignore the pain, but just be like, I'm right and he's wrong. So I got angry about it. But then as I was rewriting it, or as I was writing about that time, I realized, man, that it wasn't just because it's not the comment he made, it's not the specific words that he used, it is what that represents, man. Here I am, 13 years old, and I've just moved back to live with him. I've just chosen, dude. I want to be with my dad. I miss my dad. I miss my friends, and I choose to go and live with him. And this comment just represented to me at the time this feeling that my dad didn't want me to be there, and that my dad kind of wished I had stayed in San Francisco. And just feeling unwanted by my dad, man, and feeling just undesired. A little boy, dude, looking up at his dad, and his dad saying, when are you going to change who you are and what you look like so that I don't have to feel judged by other people? When are you going to take care of me? When are you going to do what I need so that I can feel good? And this is after a year of living with my mom, who was so busy, she could barely take care of me. I was taking the school bus. I was taking the bus to school and back. When I woke up, dude, my mom and my brother were gone. I was 12 in a new country where it was cold and it was harsher, and it was a public school with 2,000 students versus my grade elementary school in Mexico, which had fucking 150 students. And I would wake up, dude, and my mom and my brother would be gone because they went to the same high school. My mom taught there, my brother studied there. They would leave earlier. So I would wake up, there's no one home. I've got to eat before I have to be at the bus. And I've got a key. I think I either had a key to the house, or for some reason I feel like my mom, like I remember kind of like I would sneak out the back. Not sneak because there's nobody there, but I kind of remember that I would just go through the door that led to the front, not the front yard, like the street. I would walk out the back of the house and then go through like a side fence. something like that. That might have just been one day. I don't remember, but maybe I had a key to the house. But anyway, dude, I would wake up alone, go to school, be at school with all these crazy people, dude. Come home, nobody's home yet, and then I just like was alone in my house, and I could, if I wanted to order a pizza, dude, I could order a pizza. If I wanted to fucking masturbate, I could masturbate. If I wanted to fucking, have a party, dude, I'm not, that's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. I felt really alone that year. And I felt, even though this isn't what she was doing, but I felt like my mom didn't want me to be there because she needed to be focusing on herself and on her career and whatnot. So after a year of all that, man, I choose to go home because I feel like my dad is going to want me to be there. My dad's going to be happy that I'm coming back. He's been sad without me. He's going to be happy when I get back. And then he says that, man. And dude, I was writing this and I had to stop, man, because I just started crying. And it was the first time I connected that comment about my hair to the feeling I had of not being wanted by my dad, man. And it's crazy how writing can do that sometimes. It's crazy how just sitting down, closing your eyes, and just not doing anything for 30 minutes will help you make those connections. So yeah, man, I don't know. Hopefully this piece helps some people, whether or not it gets any money or any prizes. Hopefully it helps some people. I know for a fact that it helped me, man. Just to continue grieving, man, continue grieving that childhood that I never had, and also continue accepting that the childhood I did have, man, prepared me for what I'm doing now. That was one thing I realized yesterday as I was listening to a podcast, was that I used to think that, like, poor me, right? I was so unlucky because my parents, I never felt like they cared about me. I never felt like they wanted me. And I was so unlucky. And then I started prostituting myself. I started cheating on girlfriends and all this fucking suffering, dude. Some of it self-imposed, right? I'm not saying like, oh, the world has provided me with so much suffering, but whether or not it was self-imposed, it's still suffering, And I've just experienced so much of it. And I used to think like, fuck, dude, why me? Why can't I just be normal? And listening to the podcast, I realized, oh, it is because I have suffered so much that I'm doing the things I'm doing today. And it's because I have suffered so much that I did decide to go to Mexico and confront my dad. And it's because I am suffering so much that I've decided to do mushrooms and ketamine and other forms of psychedelic plant medicine therapies. It's because I have suffered so much that I decided to write my memoir, dude. And it was prompted by this one comment they made on the podcast where they said they were talking about MDMA assisted psychotherapy. One of the guys is like some expert, and the other guy was like thinking about whether or not to do it. And the expert told him, from what I'm hearing and from what I know about you, I think you're ready. If I didn't, I would tell you. I would tell you, no, you haven't suffered enough. And it just clicked like, oh, I looked at some people that I know, some people in my life that are very close to me, that for whatever reason, they remain kind of stagnant. And it just clicked. Oh, they haven't suffered enough, man. So why would they want to change? Their reality right now is not painful enough to propel them forward into change, into a different stage, because their reality right now is, it's its own form of suffering, but it's a quiet suffering. And so yeah, it's the first time that I felt kind of grateful for my suffering, kind of grateful for everything that I've been through and everything that I've put myself through. But anyway, man, that's the podcast. Hopefully some of that gives you something to think about. But yeah, dude, that's the Pupil's Life, episode 105. That's been today's podcast. And I will see you next week. What if I just did the podcast like that the whole time, man? No, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. And I'll see you next week, dude. Have a fantastic fucking start of September. All right.